How's it going, folks? Vertical Sprite here, and today we are taking a look at Dead of Night. It's an FMV game that is part Street View and 100% horror. Like, seriously, this is probably the scariest game that I've ever played. We'll be talking about the control scheme, the mechanics, and keeping this video spoiler free. And if you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to like the video, or to really help the channel out, leave a comment. Before we actually get into covering the game, I'm just going to cover the options, or should I say lack of. There's the options there to start a new game. You can take a look at game stats or review the findings that you've already found, but there's not much else in the way of controls or adjustments. I couldn't find anything to do with resolution. Subtitles and descriptions are a thing, but when it came to the sound or adjusting the video, you've got shortcut keys, and that's all. And really, changing the audio levels, I didn't really find that much difference. So if you're a buff on the whole customizing the games or making graphical options, this is not for you. It really is bare bones. Having said that, let's crack on with the game. Now, I'm not going to show you anything that isn't shown off in the main tutorial. The main thing with this game is that I want to keep things fresh and spoiler free. So you're playing as a character called Maya. You're stopping in this hotel, the Seaview Hotel, and as you're woken up in the middle of the night and witness something that's not very nice, something that's quite eerie. And being as you're now trapped in the hotel, you decide to go and do some ghost hunting. Why on earth would you want to do some ghost hunting in a place like this? I don't know. But you happen to stumble across some tools and go on your merry way to try and find some backstory to what the hell is going on here. If you've ever gone onto a website to explore a holiday resort or explore a place that you've never been to through a website, then you'll know how this works. It's the same kind of setup. With your mouse, you can turn left 90 degrees, turn right 90 degrees, or advance, and that's how you explore the hotel. A beautifully rendered hotel, it's got to be said. At times, I just wanted to take the view in. There's a lot of very clever techniques used to make it more immersive. Not only does everything seem to keep moving, but there's a very odd camera shake as well. Very slight, very subtle, but it does immerse you, along with, you can hear the quickness in Maya's voice. You can hear her almost panicking. I've got to admit the sound design in this is very well done, but I do have to come back to it. Jump scares do happen when shocks happen. Man alive, did it blow my speakers. So the main aim of the game is to explore what happened in the Seaview Hotel, to explore the history, its previous inhabitants, and, as I say, do some ghost hunting. Now, it's nice that this can be done in a non-linear fashion. How you approach this is entirely up to you, the floor that you go to, the rooms that you explore. But you have got to explore the rooms to get the key items to do some ghost hunting, and also to take note of the items that are in said rooms. At the start, you're given one thing to track down, but as time goes on, you get multiple paths and multiple, shall we say, spirits to track down. And the way that these all intertwine, it was very good and gave you relative freedom in how you approach the problems. When you have everything that you need, you then start chasing down ghosts, or start chasing down sightings or stories. And this is where the game really does shine, because the way that you question ghosts or stitch clues together is both ingenious and very intuitive. And it's got to be said that for a lot of it, it is common sense. You'll have these bunch of items, you'll have a scenario in front of you, and then think, actually this would fit that. You stitch the two together, and then all of a sudden the game opens up and you're given a whole new thread to investigate. It's really good, but I've got to stress this. It's as scary as hell. I mean, look at this. I usually play narrative games and action games. This is a nice return to form.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think what probably helped with the immersion for me was that, being set in the UK, this hotel had everything that was relatable. The carpet, the decor, the electrical outlets, the furnishings. There are hotels in Britain that look exactly like this, and I swear to God, after playing this game, I am not going there again. All of that is bad enough, but there's one extra mechanic that's thrown into the mix. Jimmy. See, while you're trying to track down the history of the Seaview Hotel, you've got this character, Jimmy, who looks suspiciously like the person on the reception desk who's hunting you down. He's a psychopath, and it's part Five Nights at Freddy's, part Alien Isolation, where as you're going from room to room, you have to avoid Jimmy at all costs. If he finds you, yeah, it's lights out. So the way that this works is that as you're going through the rooms, you'll either spot his shadow, or you'll spot him hiding around a corner. You might even hear him, his footprints, or Jimmy chuckling. And it's quite sinister. So you have to hide in a room, wait for him to pass, and then carry on about your business. The shame with Jimmy is that at the start of the game, he doesn't appear too often. So when he does turn up, you actually feel your heart racing because of the sense of dread. It's really well handled. But towards the end of the game, he gets harder and harder and harder until he became more of a nuisance than something that I was scared of, which is a shame because towards the middle section of the game, it hit that sweet spot. I had multiple threads to investigate. I also had Jimmy on the case, and I learned to not only evade him, but you can also control him as well by shouting through doors and leading him down certain paths. For a couple of hours when At Dead of Night hits that sweet spot, it was an absolute joy to play. But like I say, towards the end of the game, it maybe ramps it up a little bit, and it would be nice to have an option where you could turn Jimmy down a little bit. So maybe like the Nemesis in Resident Evil, appears 3 or 4 times in the game, and only 3 or 4 times in the game, so that when he does appear, it is a huge jump scare. But apart from that, do I recommend At Dead of Night? Absolutely. The story in this is really well handled. The FMV in this is really well handled, and although the acting, you can tell it's for a video game, it is very well acted as well. And the sound design throughout deserves a mention as well, because although for me it was slightly too loud, I really enjoyed it. So you will have noticed I've been vague on a lot of the game's details. It lays out everything, all of the rules at the start of the game as to what you should do, what you shouldn't do, where you're safe, where you're not safe. And the joy of the game was having those rules not twisted, but your expectations twisted, and it blindsides you with a lot of jump scares. If I start telling you all about the games and its intricacies, it would spoil that, so I'm not going to. Needless to say, as an FMV game, this is outstanding. Yes, at times it was frustrating. Yes, at times you have to stand in just the right spot or turn in just the right direction. It can get frustrating. But for the most part, this game is a real gem. And I would recommend anybody that's into this kind of game to give it a shot, especially if you're into horror. I've not been this scared at a game in a long time. And if you do want to catch more content from me, twitch.tv/Vertical Sprite. Be sure to give me a follow down there to support the content, and I will catch you next time I stream. Guys, thank you for watching the video. Thank you for checking out At Dead of Night, and I will catch you next time.